Welcome friends to Farm Fresh Designs 59. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Myra, and if you're returning, thank you so much for your support. So let's get started on today's projects. My first project is a tabletop room divider that I've painted with Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, and I'm using different pieces from the Veranda stamp set. So on the far side, I'm using one of the floral pieces, and I am using IOD black ink. Now in the middle section, I'm actually using the little frame that already has the flower inside of it. And so this is a tool that I get off of Amazon, and I'll make sure to share that in the link below. But it's wonderful. It helps especially when you've got bigger stamps. And then on the last one is another, or it may be the same floral pattern on that side. So with stamp sets, if you're not used to doing them, ink it up, and then you can wipe away any of the little pieces on the side that might have ink on it, and you're going to see where I messed up in a minute. And then you're going to put your hand down still and use the other hand to kind of walk your way around it, and then you pull it straight up. So this time I'm using mask, which the IOD sisters do a great job of adding mask to all of their stamp sets. And so it helps when you want to have an image back behind and then an image on top, but you don't want the image on top to kind of like mess up that image up underneath, if that makes sense. So let me show you where I messed up. So I put the mask down, and then I stamped up the lattice. And I broke my rule about, wiping back those little extra pieces that get on it. And so I had to use a little bit of paint to cover it up. But this time I'm going to be smart, and I'm going to wipe all those little side pieces back. So I put the mask on that. And this time, when I put the lattice stamp down, it doesn't mess up. But there's just one little part that I can go back and fix. So when I put that second part up, it is a little difficult because it's laying over the top of it. And then I remembered that if you have little smudges, I know that the IOD ink is permanent, but if you very quickly will wipe away those smudges, a lot of times you don't have to put paint over it to cover it up, that you can wipe it back with the baby wipe. And I'll show it to you in just a minute. Now, this is just a little piece of pottery, and I'm painting it with Rust-Oleum chiffon cream. And I'm going to be putting on the IOD Deft Traditions, and it's the one that's kind of a darker, richer brown. It's almost like a brown-black. So with the paint inlays, you put your first coat down, put your second coat down, and then you're going to lay that paint inlay just straight into that paint. And the grid side needs to be up. And you mist it, and then you let it dry. And then when it dries, then you're going to mist it again, and then wait 60 seconds and pull it up. So I've already pulled up the top piece, and then I put that smaller piece up underneath. And here's my tabletop room divider, and I just love the way that it turned out. So what do you think? I love this stamp set. And if you've watched my channel before, you know that I like to make double-sided things. So in the future, I might decorate the back side of it. And then with this little pottery piece that has the paint inlays on it, I tucked in a little teeny wood sign that has a piece of decoupage paper decoupaged on it, and I will make sure and share that link in the description box below. But it's just a little teeny sign that I just laid up on those leaves. So all my projects today are neutral, except for just a couple little things with pumpkins on it. So if you're liking the video so far, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and become part of our family. My next project is a little kitchen towel, and I get these off of Amazon, and they're 100% cotton, and I go ahead and wash them and then iron them out. And then I'm going to stamp this one with Rose Toile. It's an older IOD stamp set. And this time I use brown Stays On ink. So when you put a stamp on fabric, you need to put extra ink on it because that fabric will absorb some of the ink. So you just need a little bit of extra ink to really make it pop out. And then I'm hoping that this is permanent ink because when it's all finished, then you iron back over it and that sets the ink. So we'll wait and see if this ink is going to stay permanent when I wash it. And then once again, because this stamp is so large, I like to use this little tool. And this little tool actually has a piece of felt on the bottom. And sometimes I do like to pull it up to the side just to make sure I'm not messing up, but I make sure to hold on to the other side. Okay, so the next little piece is going to be an inside little garden flag type of thing. So this is something that I've been thinking about. So when I went to Hobby Lobby, I went to the wedding section. And no, I'm not getting married. I don't need to. I've been married 46 years, but I do like to go to that section. And this is just a little piece of wood that's in the shape of a banner. And this is some decoupage paper from Decoupage Central. And I put it down with Mod Podge and then use my little finger sander to get that excess off of it. And then I go back with some ink to kind of finish off the edges of that banner. And down at the bottom, because it has that little pointed shape to it, then I use my scissors to cut into that triangle, and then it makes it easier to sand. And then it comes with just a little wooden stand with a metal little pole on it. And then I'm going to hang it back onto a little flag stand with twine. So what do you think? So friends, my last project is a little thrifted basket, and I'm going to put molds on both sides. So on one side, I'm using the mold that I believe it's called Oak Leaves and Acorns, and it came out this summer. And I put cornstarch in my molds, and then I use Joss air dry clay and push it in, and especially right up to the edges, the little micro rim edges that you'll find on all the IOD molds. And then I like to go back with like a little gift card and smooth the back side of it. And this is not necessary. This is just something I like to do. And I'm going to be putting them on with Tight Bond Thick and Quick, which is the gray and the blue bottle. Now, let me tell you why I'm using clay. It's because I'm going to need to be able to push the edges of this clay into the basket weave. And if I was using resin, yes, I could heat it up and kind of mold it around it, but I just like to use clay when I'm on a surface where I need to be able to push that in. And even though I do it very gently, I'm going to be pushing it into that weave, and then as it dries, it won't come out of it. So this is a perfect basket for the fall season. But on the back side, I'm going to use the mold, and I believe it's called bows. And I'm going to be using the smaller bow that comes on this mold set. And once again, I'll be putting air dry clay into these molds and putting it on with Tight Bond Thick and Quick. And not only do I do the little bow, but I do the little strips that kind of can come down from the center of the bow. And then because this one is not really seasonal, this is something I can use anytime during the year. And I'm using Rust-Oleum chiffon cream. And I like to wait about 10 or 15 minutes after I put my molds on to go ahead and paint them. And I use a really soft bristle brush, but if you paint them after about 15 minutes, then it helps to reduce the cracking later on. Then later on, you're going to see where I use like a little button, and I'm going to put that into the center of that bow. So when I pushed that button in, I wanted to make sure it was going to go in enough, and it did, and so I pulled it back out really gently, and then this time on the back side of the button, I put glue on it. Then that way, when that clay dries and that glue that's on that little notch on the back side of the button is not going to come undone. And yes, I did hand paint this basket, and the reason why is because it didn't take that much time, and it's a whole lot cheaper than spray painting it. Because if you've ever tried to spray paint a basket, you think that you've got it all done, and then you pick it up and look at it, and undoubtedly you've missed a spot, and then you have to paint it, all different kind of ways. So this way, hand painting it, I just know I've got it all. So once that paint is dry, now I'm going to be going in with Voodoo Gel Stain by Dixie Belle, but I'm going to be using the color Tobacco Road because I do want the darker color. So I brush it on, and then I will wipe it back with a baby wipe. And yes, it seems and it feels like you're wasting it. But what I really want is I want that Voodoo Gel Stain to kind of sink into the details, and then it really makes it pop out. So it's really worth it. And those bottles of Voodoo Gel Stain, they're pretty large as far as I'm concerned, and they last a really long time. And then there's another color that I like, and it's actually the natural color, which is a color that gives it just a little bit of a stain. So friends, we are at the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching today. In the comments below, let me know which is your favorite. And also, if you've been watching the IOD sisters, they're starting to give little teasers because the holiday collection will be out soon. So I will share my affiliate link to Decoupage Central, and on the day of the release, use that affiliate link and go to Decoupage Central and get the pieces that you want. Because remember, the Christmas collection is a limited collection. And last year it sold out super fast. And once it's gone, you won't be able to get it again. Unless you want to pay $1 gazillion on eBay. And also, be checking my Facebook page, which is Farm Fresh Designs, because I'm going to try to be doing some lives this week. So once again, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you soon. And make sure you watch my channel on the day of the release. Thank you, friends.